All right, let's watch this. There's awesome sound. It's very cool. Really good Foley there whenever they land. And one of my favorite things is this here. That. Just sliding back, going down, even pushing off this section of that sword here, just kind of pivoting off of there. But you hear that sound. Oh, it's so good. I really, really like the sound effects in this. Also, just the rhythm of everything. It's basically what I tell my students a lot, and it's sometimes if you watch my critiques, I do this thing where if you take the sound off, like I would do things where it just adds rhythm, and it gives me, for me, it's a frame of reference of when things are supposed to move. But when you just listen to original sound here, it just has really good rhythm. Again, I'll turn this back off, but it's just really, really neat. Now, right off the bat, let me bring in actually that clip in a bit more, because we can see, you might argue tangent, but it's frame one, you will never see this. But I do love right off the bat, we have this here. Whoa, big reaction. Zoom out into this. There's really good weight in this as we go back. And I love, love, love the adjustments. Getting ready, pushing down a little bit here with the sword hitting the ground and then going back up. And I love that swing on the sword going back and then back forward into this, into really nice clean silhouettes. The only thing I would say is probably move that knee down a bit further and with a slight tilt up here on that foot. Mainly because this is something that, if you watch my critiques, you hear that a lot. I would bring the bend of a knee away, either up or down, whatever. But if the knee is bending towards us or away from us, to see the bend a little bit, so we understand that's the structure. Even on something like this, we understand the structure of the leg more. And if you go into a full-on silhouette, this just feels like a short leg. That's the only thing I would say on this part. But again, I picked this clip because it's really, really good. I love the posing. I love the action. I love it, like I said, there's enough weight on that hold. It doesn't feel like it's rushed. Getting ready. And just enough where it doesn't have to, hurry into this and rush through it. There's a nice enough of a get ready and then go back in there. On something like this, I will probably keep that sword a bit long, but you have it very long here. I know it's an in-between breakdown there. But this could be something where on that slash, maybe that sword comes out here, although it's a bit there. But it's fairly clean. Even on the elbow, potentially pushing these, but there's a good silhouette there because of the color difference. That's definitely going up into a really nice hit. And again, holding this long enough. That's what I like about this too, is that you got that big push with that momentum, pushing him up, pulling him up there, being on the tippy toes long enough. You can see this, how long he stays into a step down into this. And I love that little transition, bringing that shield back, going into anticipation, and then we got your full extension into really nice, again, clean silhouette for the final strike. And look at that. Really, really neat. Again, I picked this because it's awesome. It's not like I have anything super constructive to say. I will go like my picky notes about the sword tip here having a tangent there, potentially leaving that a bit more clean like this. Not that it kills the shot, because then you go into a nice silhouette here. Like, these are like super picky things. If I had to go in there frame by frame, again, I don't have to. I chose that to use that clip here. But I wanted to also bring up a shot that just works really well in terms of where to look. Bah! I like explosive beginnings. Again, the weight is good here. Gives us enough breathing time to have the other character come in. And it comes also with the shadow in here. I like those little... That's really cool too. Again, something where I'm probably bringing it up a bit higher. It's clean. It's not... There's no tangent, but just a little bit. Probably keeping this a bit cleaner. I do like this though. The overlappy shapes and where the animator chose to put that in there. I think that works really well. Arm goes back into a small shape. That hold is really good if you watch this in real time. That's a good rhythm. And then smack down with a nice long stretch there. Bring my head up here with that nice impact. Extra shapes there. Like, I love all that stuff. And you can see that little look turns into more of a ragdoll, but just enough with everything moving. Yeah, it's really cool. Again, there's not something where I can say, this is horrible and here are my 2 cents on how to fix this. Like, sometimes I just like to pick out shots where it's all really good. And if anybody's watching this or a student watching this, it's also important to see, here's a shot that doesn't need that much extra work. It works really well. I mean, it's like I said, the arcs are really nicely done. It flows really well. It's great presentation. The camera moves work. And again, there's enough stuff there to show us that the camera is moving, even though you have like the horizon to the background that blends. But you have all this to understand, no, we are moving the camera. We are translating up. We are tilting up. And it's not confusing. And it helps with the complete reframe. And it's nicely balanced too. I don't think there's nothing that stands out where I would rebalance things. No, it's great. I mean, I'll leave it at that. That's really a clip where I have to say it's really great. The only thing I would say, I almost didn't want to mention it, but this is one of the main reasons why I picked it. In terms of critique, not in terms of because it's awesome, because it is awesome. The only thing, because we are so sideways, it's always very, very, very sideways. And I understand, because the character is here, and that's where the focus is. But it would have been kind of neat on something going back like that on that slide and a recovery to give us almost a bit more of a 3/4 view where it slides and maybe has a little bit of a turn. I know it will break up that nice silhouetted profile, totally understand, but sometimes it would have been cool to get, for me it would be doing this section here, something where it's a bit more sliding somewhat towards us with, you know, the head 3/4 and then turning back. It's almost like, oh, this almost brought him away from where he's supposed to be, because he's 3/4, and then he goes back into profile into this, right? To have a bit more, a bigger contrast of profile hit 3/4, almost messy. That's almost like a messy, so like, oh, I was hit and I have to recover, but let me find my strength again, and that is re-emphasized by a super clean profile silhouette. I mean, that would be the picky thing, and that is that. All right.